All righty, Bengals fans. The week 2 game against the Kansas City Chiefs has just ended. There was a lot of good. There was some bad. There was more bad than I'd have liked to have seen. And of course, the Bengals did lose that heartbreaking game. Wrenched my heart out. We're going to talk about it up next. Here, no buts about it. And I just realized my mic was muted, which is awesome. Anyway, Bengals fans, that was a rough one. We saw a whole lot of good, saw some bad. So let's talk about it here real quick. This is a live stream. So feel free to talk, ask questions, tell me what you thought. But my initial thoughts, and this is without doing a rewatch, obviously, the game just ended. The Bengals looked better with the tight ends. I was really glad that they came out very quickly with a 3 tight end set, I believe. You had Drew Sample showing up early. He gave me a heart attack early on in the game. Almost fumbled the ball. But getting him involved, getting Mike Gesicki involved. I'm not quite sure what his numbers were there at the end. Let me pull Gesicki's numbers up here real quick. And some of these numbers we're still going to have to wait on the people who get paid to count stuff. So he had 7 receptions for 91 yards there in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So almost 100 yards. Very good showing from Mike Gesicki. However, on that, it was either mid fourth quarter or end third quarter. There was a drive and first down. Nice catch by Gesicki, or it should have been a catch, and he bobbled it. It landed right in his arms, fell incomplete. Can't be having that, especially when you're going up against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, where every little thing matters. There were a few other plays where I would have liked to have seen him, maybe shown a little bit more effort, but overall, I'd say Mike Gesicki had a pretty good game. Much more exciting part was Eric All, someone who we have not talked a whole lot about on this channel, but we will begin talking more about as the season goes on, I'm sure, because he was super fun to watch. He was great at blocking. He got involved in the passing game. That is what the Cincinnati Bengals have needed at the tight end position, and that is something I have talked about. I have talked about Tanner McLachlan potentially being that guy as well. And so if you have Eric All and Tanner McLachlan potentially being that guy, that is huge for the Cincinnati Bengals. Something else to keep in mind is Tanner Hudson was active today. He came in doubtful, questionable, and he ended up on the active roster. And because of that, Tanner McLachlan wasn't active. Didn't really hear Tanner Hudson's name called much, if at all. So kind of wondering what the situation is there. I would have liked to see Tanner McLachlan get the start. If Tanner Hudson wasn't ready to go, let's pull this up real quick. Let's pull this stats up real quick. Did Tanner Hudson even have a catch? Did anyone see him do anything worthwhile today? And I know after last game, I called for him to get traded. I had even called for T. Higgins to potentially get traded. But Tanner Hudson, they don't even have his stats up for the Kansas City game right now. I'm not even sure he did anything today. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but did not see Tanner Hudson doing anything. Would have liked to see Tanner McLachlan get that position if they knew Tanner Hudson wasn't going to be available. And Jermaine Burton. So Jermaine Burton, I don't know why he isn't getting opportunities. And I'm not going to buy into all these rumors and stuff that the national media is peddling, because the Bengals haven't really seemed to support that either. The only thing the Bengals have done that supports that in any way is just the lack of snaps he's been getting. Burrow took a nice deep shot to Jermaine Burton, two actually, and he came down with one of them. It was a huge catch. It was a huge momentum shift for the Cincinnati Bengals today against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we need to see more of that. He had a 47-yard reception against the Kansas City Chiefs, a very good Kansas City Chiefs defense. Steve Spagnuolo is a great defensive coordinator. You can hate the Kansas City Chiefs all you want, but it's just the truth that Steve Spagnuolo is a great coordinator. So, why is Jermaine Burton not getting used more? I understand that Trenton Irwin is this veteran presence. He's been trusted, and on the goal line, that's what you need. You need a guy who's trusted. But the fact is, Jermaine Burton has so much more talent. He's younger, he's quicker, he's faster, he's more athletic. Everything about Jermaine Burton is better than Trenton Irwin. And I'm not saying cut Trenton Irwin. I've been seeing calls for that on Twitter, and I disagree with that, or X. I disagree with that. I don't think you cut Trenton Irwin. But you definitely have to talk about at some point whether or not Trenton Irwin really deserves the start over Jermaine Burton. And unless Jermaine Burton really is doing all that stuff that we heard rumors about, falling asleep in meetings, not really getting the playbook, not really paying attention to get the playbook, I do not understand why Trenton Irwin is starting over Jermaine Burton. Every time Jermaine Burton has been on the field, it has led to big plays. It has led to momentum shifting plays. And that's what this Bengals offense needs. It needs those dynamics. It needs to show that they have a weapon outside of Jamar Chase, especially while T. Higgins is out. And if the Bengals' long-term plan is for T. Higgins to not be a part of this team next season, you need to get a guy ready to go, and Jermaine Burton looks to be that guy. Now, of course, Andre Yoshivas, he had another great game. He looked good. He showed some promise. But I don't know if he is quite what we need. I could see he had a great game today. Don't get me wrong. End zone, he's phenomenal. I liked what I saw out of Andre Yoshivas in the end zone. And, of course, he had those 2 touchdowns to show for it. But outside of that, he had 2 receptions, which were the 2 touchdowns for 7 yards. That's not a whole lot of progress. And that's not T. Higgins level production. So if we're not going to get that out of Yoshi, we have to look to our next best option. And I truly believe that's Jermaine Burton. Trent Irwin isn't the long-term solution. Yoshi is going to be your red zone solution. You have to give Jermaine Burton a chance. You have to give him snaps. You have to give him an opportunity on the field to show us why he's not ready. Because everything the fans are seeing on the outside come game day, every time Jermaine Burton is on the field, it looks like he's ready. It looks like he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL to watch. But he is not getting these opportunities, and that is why the fans are getting so upset with this coaching staff for not giving Jermaine Burton those opportunities. He is getting those deep shots. And if he ends up just being a guy that the Bengals use, similar to how the Colts use Alec Pierce, where they use him on those deep shots, so be it. But Jermaine Burton has shown production. He's shown that defenses need to cover him. And I think the Bengals need to give him a bigger chance next game against the Commanders. We're 0-2 going in against the Commanders. Rookie quarterback, rebuilding team. This is the opportunity to turn it around. You lost by 1 point to the reigning Super Bowl champions. You got to figure it out. You cannot lose to the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Commanders 3 in a row. That is unacceptable. And another thing the Bengals need to do is they need to figure out their defensive line, because B.J. Hill went down in the Chiefs game. Sheldon Rankins went down in the Chiefs game. They have no one. Zach Carter isn't going to cut it. You have to trade for a nose tackle. You have to. Now you probably have to trade for a 3-tech as well, unless McKinley Jackson's coming back all of a sudden. And we don't even know what he is because he's a rookie and he hasn't played because he's been injured. The Bengals' defensive line is atrocious. The entire thing relies on Trey Hendrickson. And Sam Hubbard had some plays, but he has not been the same. These last 2 seasons, he's been dealing with injuries. And I know some people are calling to trade him. I'm not going to call to trade him yet or cut him, but I am going to call for Cedric Johnson to get activated. There's another guy who, if Tanner Hudson isn't going to play, if he is really hurt or just Eric All is better, Mike Gesicki's better, Drew Sample's better, why is Tanner Hudson taking up a game day roster spot? That makes no sense. Makes no sense at all when you could have Cedric Johnson get in a rotation with Sam Hubbard. I don't know where Amarius Mims and Chris Jenkins are on their injury issues yet, but if they're ready to go, you can throw them in. There are so many guys who you could put in place of Tanner Hudson, Tanner McLaughlin, Chris Jenkins, Amarius Mims if he's ready to go, Cedric Johnson again. And now the Bengals have to look at trading for or going out and just signing a free agent defensive tackle because they don't have anyone on that line. And you cannot rely on Zach Carter to get it done. Isaiah Pacheco is a great running back. Don't get me wrong, but that run defense was awful today. I'm really frustrated, and I was really frustrated last week too with the defense. And then I went back and watched it, and I was less frustrated. But I really do wonder how much trust the Bengals put in Sheldon Rankins to stay healthy. And now week 2, he's already gone down. Week 2, BJ Hill has gone down. So it's very frustrating from a fan perspective to not understand what they're doing. It looks like the team isn't taking these issues seriously, even though I know they are because I expect them to at least because it's their job. But it's weird seeing everyone else kind of say the same things you are, and people who are way smarter than you say things that are similar, like Joe Goodberry and Drew Garrison and Bangalorean and all these other Bengals influencers, Dave Lapham. They're all saying similar things, and the Bengals just seem to be ignoring it. They seem to not even be considering it at all. And Jamar Chase, let's talk about that real quick. What happened there? We know that the guarantees weren't what he wanted, and that's fine. But is he really okay with not getting that extension done? I mean, he showed frustration on the field, and it caused a big penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And I'm not saying that Jamar was in the wrong necessarily. I'm not sure that was a great missed call by the ref. I think the ref maybe should have called that face mask or hip drop tackle. There were 2 things there that you could have potentially gone with. And they were beating up on him all game. He wasn't getting any calls. I understand the frustration. But when you get to the point where Joe Burrow has to grab you and pull you back from a ref, that's a little too much, in my opinion, for Jamar to not be able to control his anger issues. And so that there might be something else going on there. I would like to see that be addressed. I'm interested to see what he says in his post-game interviews or any interviews he does throughout the week. But very, very frustrating situation for Bengals fans because we've all been here before. But this just feels worse because it feels like we have all this talent that is just being wasted again. And I go back. I'm going to keep going back to it because it's true. Tanner McLaughlin looks great. Why is he not getting opportunities? There is no reason, barring injury, in my opinion, that Tanner McLaughlin should be getting chances over Tanner Hudson. I know a lot of fans originally thought Tanner Hudson was the future in the NFL or in the Bengals tight end room, but he never was. He's almost 30 years old. He spent most of his NFL career on the practice squad. He is a depth guy at the most. I say trade him. Trade him for what you can get. Hopefully it's a nose tackle. build up that defensive line because you're going to need it. I know Miles Murphy's coming back. I know McKinley Jackson's coming back. I know you have Cedric Johnson, but you don't need 5 tight ends. You don't need 5 tight ends come game day. You have Mike Gesicki, who's had a good game today. You have Eric All, good game today. Drew Sample, decent game today. Tanner McLaughlin. Let's see. Okay. That's the tight end room. I didn't get a good look at the O-line today just because that wasn't really what I was watching. I was watching more of the defense. And Dejon Anthony, another rookie who kind of struggled. He had some good plays, but at the same time, he caused some penalties that cost the Bengals the game. And that final penalty against the I don't know what Chiefs wide receiver that was or who that was on the Chiefs, but that was a soft penalty, man. I don't know about that, especially in that situation. Um, to put the Chiefs in field goal range and pretty much hand them the win on that when the whole narrative around the Kansas City Chiefs is always that they're handed these games by the refs. I mean, that was obvious right there. That was clear to me that the refs were trying to set up Kansas City for a win. Dejon Anthony got there a little bit early, but I mean, come on. You can't call that in that moment, in my opinion. You hadn't called that all game, and then all of a sudden, in the biggest moment of the game, you call that. Not a fan of that at all. Let me know what you thought. I can go ahead. We can do some comments here, talk about it, but that was so bad. The turnovers were great. The Bengals defense was great with turnovers. Let's look at some positives instead of just looking at all the negatives. Getting interceptions off Patrick Mahomes is always fun, because the announcers, especially Tony Romo, love to hype up Patrick Mahomes and how great of a quarterback he is. And he is a great quarterback, don't get me wrong. But getting interceptions off of him is fun. And Cam Taylor-Britt, woo! That boy had a one-handed interception on coverage against Xavier Worthy, who he'd been talking smack about throughout the week. So Cam Taylor-Britt got to back up his talk with a beautiful one-handed catch. I'm sure we will see some highlights of that throughout the week at some point. I love that. Loved that right there. Akeem Davis-Gaither, another guy who got an interception off of Patrick Mahomes. Beautiful, beautiful. Sheldon Rankins, give him some flowers since we just dissed him a little bit. Causing that fumble with Carson Steele, recovered by Jermaine Pratt. Bengals defense was, I know that they let a ton of yards after contact, and you can't have that, but they created some turnovers against a very good offense today. So that is a silver lining on the defensive side of the ball. But overall, just gotta lock down those tackles more. Got to do better with that. Let me know what you think here. What stuck out to you today? What are you hoping to see more of now as we face off against the Commanders next week? What do the Bengals need to do this week to kind of show you that they are willing to win? Gonna do a film review. I have to go down to Indianapolis tomorrow, so maybe I'll watch the game on the way there. Someone else is driving. I'm not gonna watch it while driving. Just heads up, staying safe. But what do the Bengals need to do to kind of win you back over as a fan? Because these 0-2 starts, getting tired of them. Let's see here. Wonder if PFF has their. I doubt they do, but wonder if they've got any information with the snap counts yet. Never hurts to look, right? Do, 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 do. I'm just couldn't let Taylor Swift be, she was in attendance, couldn't let her leave sad. That's not allowed by the NFL, you know. And yeah, so they don't have their recap up yet, but overall, I mean, it was definitely an improved performance from last week. Last week was abysmal. They didn't even look like they wanted to play or knew they were playing last week. So, finally got to see some energy from this Bengals team. I just wish it had gone the other way. I know we all did, but Tanner McLaughlin, I would love to see him put Tanner Hudson back on the practice squad. Tanner Hudson didn't do anything. I don't know what they wanted him to do. Uh, Need Amarius Mims to get back sooner rather than later, for sure. The Trent Brown experiment is not going super well. It's pretty average. Uh, yeah. Like I said, I haven't rewatched the game yet, obviously, so I'll do that and we'll have a different reaction. But no Jordan Battle either. That was another thing that stuck out to me. I got to look at the snap counts. But not seeing Jordan Battle get used or seeing Jordan Battle not get used as much is also very frustrating because we saw what he could be last year. And I rallied for him all last year, and Chuss rallied for him all last year. And now I feel like I'm kind of back to where we started. And I get Von Bell has experience with the team, he's a veteran, but we rallied for Jordan Battle to get a start. And when he did get a start, he looked phenomenal. And now I'm back to rallying for Jordan Battle to get a start or at least get usage in this game. I mean, come on. That dude, he showed he deserves to be on the field. Maybe even over Von Bell in passing defenses. Von Bell, I think, is probably the better run stopper, but Jordan Battle needs to be getting some playing time as well. You got Jordan Battle, Jermaine Burton, Tanner McLaughlin, Cedric Johnson. A ton of these young guys need to be getting playing time that they are not getting. And that is not cool with me. But we'll look more into that this week. Not a ton of commenters tonight. Not a ton of people feeling super excited. I will rewatch the game, do a further breakdown with numbers and stats and all that stuff, all that fun stuff. But if you want to see that, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. I try to go live as often as possible after games. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I also try to go live for big news going on. I love talking with you guys. Sometimes commenters exist, sometimes they don't. But I always appreciate those who stop by. Chuss appreciates those who stop by. And until next time, go do something nice for someone.